The sky was red. Smoke rose high above the colony. Buildings were on fire. People ran in every direction, shouting, crying, searching for shelter. Alarms rang. Sirens howled like wounded animals. And in the middle of it all, a little girl walked, alone through the fire. She was small, no taller than Cole's waist. Her skin was soft blue, and her big glowing eyes looked too old for her young face. She wore torn clothes and had a broken metal necklace hanging from her neck. Her hands shook, but her steps did not stop. She didn't cry. She didn't call for help. She just walked, and no one noticed her, except Cole. Cole was an engineer working in the colony's power systems. He had stayed behind when the evacuation started. He had to shut down the fusion cores before they exploded. That was the plan. But when he looked out the shattered window of the control tower and saw the little figure in the fire, everything changed. "What the hell?" he whispered. A child was walking through the flames, alone, silent, glowing, slightly. She was not human, but she was alive. Cole didn't think. He ran. Outside, the heat hit him like a wall. Smoke filled his lungs. His boots kicked through burning metal and ash. He pushed through fallen beams and collapsed walls. "Hey!" he shouted. "Hey, kid! Stop!" The girl didn't stop. She turned her head slightly. Her glowing eyes met his. For a second, Cole thought she would run, but she didn't. She waited. He reached her, coughing. His hands went to her shoulders gently. "You okay? You hurt?" he asked. She just stared at him. Then she held up her necklace. It was broken, burned. But Cole saw something, 2 small figures carved on it. One was clearly a tall male. The other was small, like her. "My father," she said softly. "He told me to run." Cole looked around. Fire, screams, explosions, in the distance. "Where is he now?" Cole asked. The girl pointed behind her and Cole saw it. A large alien body, charred, lifeless, lay across a pile of rubble. One hand still stretched out as if trying to protect her. Cole lowered his head. "I'm sorry," he whispered. The girl said nothing. She just looked at him with those big, shining eyes. Then she asked in a soft voice, "Will you protect me like he did?" For a long moment, Cole didn't answer. The world was falling apart. But she stood there, asking with eyes full of quiet hope. He didn't know her name, didn't know her story, but he knew his answer. "Yes," he said at last. "I will." She blinked once, then stepped forward and put her small hand in his. It was cold and shaking, but it held tight. Cole carried her away from the fire. They ducked through back alleys and service tunnels. He wrapped her in his jacket. She said nothing, but she didn't let go of his hand. Inside the emergency shelter, he cleaned a small cot and gave her water. She sat quietly and watched him, holding her necklace tightly in both hands. "What's your name?" he asked. She whispered, "Nari." "That's a nice name," Cole said. "I'm Cole." She nodded once, then leaned back against the wall. Her eyes stayed open, watching. The door. She didn't sleep. Cole watched her from across the room. She wasn't just scared, she was trained, prepared, too prepared for someone so small. "What were you doing in the fire, Nari?" he asked. "My father said, if he didn't come back, I should walk through the fire, because only someone brave would follow me." Cole's breath caught. That meant her father had known he wouldn't survive, but he had trusted that someone kind, someone human, might still exist. Someone like Cole. Outside, more ships burned. The colony was nearly gone. But inside that dark room, one human and one alien child sat quietly, together. The fire still roared outside, but for Nari, the worst fire was over. She had found someone who didn't run from her, someone who answered, yes, someone who chose to protect. The sky above the colony was still filled with smoke. Cole had taken Nari to the old repair station on the edge of the ruins. It was broken, dusty, and half buried under metal scraps. But it had one thing others didn't. No one came here. It was forgotten. Just like her. Cole gave her a blanket and a can of warm soup. She sat in the corner, cross-legged, quietly sipping the soup without saying much. She still wore his jacket, far too big for her small frame. Her glowing eyes followed every sound outside, even the wind. She was scared, not just of what had happened, but of what was coming. Later that night, Cole opened the floor panel and pulled out an old scanner. He turned the screen toward her. "These are the patrol zones. Drones are scanning the ruins now," he said. "If they find you—" Nari finished the sentence in a whisper. "They'll take me away." Cole paused. "Why would they do that?" he asked. She looked down at her broken necklace. Her small fingers touched it gently. "Because I'm not human," she said. Cole sighed. "That's not a reason. It is to them." He didn't argue. She wasn't wrong. As night deepened, the power cells ran low. The heater turned cold. Cole gave her the last power bar from his kit. She took it, broke it in half, and gave one piece back. Cole stared. She smiled. "Just a little." "Thank you," he said. "You saved me," she answered. "So I want to save you too." It wasn't normal for a child to speak like that. She was kind, but guarded. Every word felt chosen, like she had learned early that trust could be dangerous. By morning, Cole tried contacting his old friend at the South Hangar, a human smuggler named Juno, but there was no signal, only static. He leaned back, tired and unsure. "What now?" he asked himself aloud. Nari, sitting on a crate, looked up. "Will you send me away?" He turned to her quickly. "No. Even if it means you get hunted too." He didn't answer right away, but then he walked over and knelt beside her. "You asked me to protect you," he said. "That means I stay. I don't care what it costs." Her lips trembled. "Not even if it costs your life?" Cole looked into her big glowing eyes. "I've seen war. I've lost friends. And I've walked away from people before," he said. "But not this time." She looked at him for a long time, then leaned forward and rested her head against his shoulder. "You sound like my father," she whispered. And Cole, for the first time in years, felt something break inside him. He gently wrapped his arm around her. That afternoon, a loud hum echoed through the broken walls. Cole jumped to his feet and pulled Nari behind a metal pipe. Through the crack in the door, a red patrol drone floated by, camera scanning side to side. It paused at the station, then hovered away slowly. Cole stayed frozen. Nari barely breathed. After a minute, the sound faded. "They're getting closer," Cole said quietly. "I can help," Nari said. He looked at her. "How?" She looked nervous. "My father taught me to hide." She raised her hand slowly and closed her eyes. A soft shimmer of light began to glow around her skin, then spread outward. It touched Cole, the walls, the floor. Everything went dim, almost invisible. Cole looked around in shock. He couldn't even see his own shadow. Then the glow faded, and the world returned to normal. He stared at her. "What was that?" "My kind can bend light," she said. "It's a gift." He blinked. "No wonder they're hunting you." She nodded once. "That's why I have nowhere left to go," she said. "No colony wants me. My home is gone, my people are scattered, and humans—" She stopped. Cole lowered his voice. "Humans haven't given you a reason to trust them." She didn't speak, just looked down. Then he placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "Then let me be the first reason." Nari looked up slowly. "I won't run," he added. "I know," she said softly. Then for the first time since they met, she smiled. Just a little wider this time, not a full smile, but enough. Enough to keep going. The message blinked red on Cole's old comm screen. Alert. Unauthorized alien child escaped. Subject may be armed or dangerous. Reward, 50,000 credits. Cole's eyes narrowed. Nari? She was sitting quietly, drawing shapes on the dusty floor with her finger. Her little legs were crossed. She looked peaceful. But someone had just put a price on her head. Cole turned off the screen fast and pulled the wire loose. He walked to her slowly. Nari, we have a problem. She looked up. They found me? He nodded. And they're telling everyone you're dangerous. She didn't look surprised. Just sad. They always do that, she whispered. If they say I'm a threat, they can take me. Or sell me. Sell you? Cole's voice turned hard. Nari nodded again. Some collectors like rare types. Especially ones that glow. Cole sat beside her, angry but quiet. How old are you? He asked gently. I don't know, she said. We didn't use numbers. We just had seasons. I saw 8 bloom cycles before my world fell. 8. She was still just a child. Later, Cole searched through the hideout storage. He found a faded cloak, some old gear, and one useful device, a signal jammer. It was dusty, but it still powered on. Okay, he said. We'll block. Trackers for now. But we need to leave this place. Nari tilted her head. Where? I have a friend. She owes me a favor. She works near the edge of the cargo rings. She might help us get off-world. Nari stood and put on the cloak. But she didn't hide her face. Are you sure? Cole asked. They'll see your eyes. I'm tired of hiding, she said softly. You didn't hide from me. That night they moved. Through dark alleyways and under fallen bridges, they crept past scanners and searchlights. Cole kept his hand on Nari's shoulder the whole time. Every time she stepped too close to danger, he pulled her back. She never complained. She trusted him. Halfway to the hangars, they ducked into an old comm station to rest. As Cole checked the map, Nari stared out the broken window. Why do they hate us? She asked. Cole didn't know what to say, so he told her the truth. Because some people are afraid of what they don't understand, and fear turns into anger. Were you afraid of me? Yes, he admitted. For a moment, but then I saw you weren't dangerous, just lost, like me. She turned and looked at him. Then she reached into her cloak and pulled something out. An old worn pendant. It was different from the broken necklace. Inside was a small crystal that pulsed with soft light. My father gave me this. Before the fire, she said. He said it would protect me, but I think it was meant to help me find someone. Cole looked at the crystal, then at her. Maybe you already did. As they left the building, a voice called out, Stop! Cole froze, so did Nari. A patrol unit was standing across the street, 2 humans in armor and 1 floating drone. They had weapons aimed. The drone scanned Nari and beeped. Subject identified. Alien class, high luminar. Status, active threat. Reward confirmed. Cole grabbed Nari's hand. Run! They dashed through broken debris. Gunfire sparked behind them. Nari slipped once, but Cole caught her. His heart pounded. His lungs burned. But he didn't stop. He couldn't stop. She trusted him. They turned down an alley, and Cole threw open a maintenance hatch. Inside. Now. They slid into the old vent system. Cole sealed the hatch and activated the jammer. The tunnel went dark. Only Nari's faint glow remained. Cole turned to her. She was breathing hard. Are you okay? She nodded, but her voice cracked. They called me a threat. You're not, he said firmly. They want to take me. They won't. They'll kill you. Let them try. She stared at him in the dark and whispered, You're not like the others. He shook his head. No. And you're not what they say you are either. She blinked fast, trying not to cry, but one tear still fell. He gently wiped it away. From now on, he said, they can chase both of us, but they'll never catch you alone again. Somewhere above them, another alert went out. The alien girl has activated powers. Human accomplice is armed. They are moving toward the cargo zone. Orders, Capture alive. Use force if needed. Cole didn't care. Nari didn't look back. The galaxy had decided she was dangerous, but only one man had looked past the glow and saw a child asking to be loved. They made it to the edge of the cargo zone just before sunrise. The sky above was no longer red with fire. Now it was cold and gray, like the world had stopped breathing. Cole and Nari hid behind a row of junked shuttles. They hadn't slept, they hadn't spoken in hours. Every shadow made them jump, every sound could mean someone was coming. Cole checked the comm link. Static again. Still nothing, he muttered. Nari sat next to him on the cold metal floor. Her knees pulled up, arms wrapped around them. She looked small. So small. Cole hated seeing her like this. He looked down at her gently. Nari, we might have one option left. She turned her head. I know someone who smuggles alien refugees, off-world, but it's dangerous, and I won't be able to go with you. Her eyes blinked slowly. You mean I go alone? He nodded. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then, why can't you come? They know my face now. If I'm with you, you'll get caught. If you go alone, maybe you'll be safe. Nari looked away. Her hands gripped the sides of her cloak. I was alone when they took my mother, she whispered. Alone when they burned my home. And I was alone when my father told me to run. She looked back at him, eyes glowing faintly in the shadows. But I wasn't alone when I found you. Cole's throat felt tight. She continued, softer now. You didn't look at me like a thing, you didn't throw me away. You didn't say I was cursed or dangerous, you just stayed. Cole opened his mouth, but no words came out. I don't want to go alone again, she said. And then she reached out and held his hand. Please, don't leave me. For the first time in years, Cole felt completely still. He had seen alien children abandoned, some taken, some never found. He had always turned his eyes away. But this time, he didn't. He held her hand tightly. I'm scared, she admitted. Me too, he said honestly. She smiled faintly. Then stay scared with me. Just don't go. Cole closed his eyes for a moment, then nodded. I won't, he whispered. We'll figure something else out. Together. Later, they crawled through a service tunnel leading to the back of a supply depot. Cole tapped a hidden code on a rusted keypad. The door slid open with a slow hiss. Inside was a dim, quiet workshop, and someone was already waiting. A tall alien, woman in gray robes, turned around, her eyes widened. Cole? She said, shocked. You're alive. Barely, he said. Zara, I need your help. Zara's eyes shifted to the small figure behind him, the glow in her eyes. The markings on her cheek. Is that a Luminar child? She whispered. Nari flinched. Zara stepped forward slowly. She's one of the ancient line. I know, Cole said. And the bounty hunters know too. Zara's face grew serious. They'll never stop chasing her. I know that too. Zara looked at Cole. She must leave this planet. Now. Cole looked down at Nari. She looked up at him and shook her head. I'm not leaving him. Zara frowned. She's bonded with you. She trusts me, Cole said quietly. Zara was silent for a while. Then she reached under the desk and pulled out 2 data chips. One is a transport code for a ship leaving tonight. The other is an ID switcher. It will hide her signal. Cole looked up, surprised. 2 chips? Zara gave a small smile. You'll need one too. If you're staying with her, then you both leave. That evening, in the corner of the dusty shop, Nari sat beside Cole as he fixed a broken transmitter. She watched his hands move carefully, his eyes focused, gentle. You build things, she said. Yeah, he replied. I fix what's broken. She looked at her hands. I'm broken too. He looked at her. No. You're hurt, but not broken. She tilted her head. What's the difference? Broken things don't get up again. Hurt ones do, She smiled softly, and for the first time, Cole saw something new in her eyes. Hope. The old cargo ship rumbled on its landing pads, preparing for launch. Inside the shadows of Dock 17, Cole checked the time on his cracked wrist screen. 10 minutes, he whispered. Then it lifts. Nari stood beside him, holding his hand tightly. She wore a hood now, and her glow was dimmed, on purpose. Her father had taught her how to hide her light, but even now, in silence, she shook. They're close, she whispered. Cole nodded. I know. They were hiding behind a pile of metal crates just 50 meters from the loading ramp. Between them and the ship, an open space, floodlights, and worse, hunters. 4 bounty hunters in dark armor walked through the dock, scanning. Every face. One held a tracker, glowing faintly. She's near, the leader said. The reading strong. Cole and Nari ducked lower. His heart pounded. He checked the jammer. Its battery was blinking red. Damn it, he muttered. Nari looked up. We won't make it, will we? Cole didn't answer. Because he didn't know. Minutes earlier, Zara had handed Cole a final package, a small silver disc. It's a decoy emitter, she said. Drop it somewhere else. It gives a false signal, strong enough to draw them away, but it only lasts 60 seconds. 60 seconds is enough, Cole had said, but he wasn't sure anymore, because between them and the ship, those 60 seconds might feel like forever. Now. Cole pulled out the disc. Nari, he said. When I say run, don't look back. Just head for the ramp. Her voice was tight. What about you? I'll be behind you. You promise? He looked her in the eyes. I promise. She gave a tiny nod. He kissed her forehead, just once, and then crawled 2 meters to the right behind a fallen barrel. He activated the disc and tossed. It had bounced twice, then landed behind a wall of crates. A second later, beep, 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 the tracker in the bounty hunter's hand screamed. There, behind those crates. All 4 hunters rushed to the false signal. Cole jumped up. Now! Nari didn't wait. She ran. Her small feet pounded the metal ground as she sprinted toward the ramp. A guard at the ship's entrance turned and froze when he saw her eyes. Cole was already behind her, yelling, Let her through! The guard hesitated, then nodded. Nari ran up the ramp, panting. She didn't stop until she reached the cargo bay. She turned and screamed. Cole was still outside. The disc's timer had died. The hunters had realized the trick. They turned back and spotted. Cole, there! The human. He has her. 3 charged. 1 fired. A shot grazed Cole's arm. He stumbled, but he didn't stop. Nari stood at the edge of the ship, hand reaching out. Cole. He pushed through the pain, ran harder. Another shot missed, barely. The ship's captain shouted, We're lifting in 20 seconds. Cole reached the ramp just as it began to rise. He leaped, caught the edge, pulled himself up, blood on his arm, sweat in his eyes. Nari dropped to her knees and grabbed him. Don't let go, she cried. He smiled through the pain. Never. The ramp closed. The ship lifted, and the hunters screamed in anger below. Cole collapsed onto the floor, breathing hard. Nari held his hand tightly. You said you'd be behind me, she whispered. He coughed. Told you I don't break promises. She smiled. Then her face changed. Your arm. He waved it off. Just a scratch. She gently placed her small, glowing hand over the wound. Her eyes closed, and for a moment, Cole felt warmth. Not just on his arm, but in his heart. When she opened her eyes, the cut was gone. He blinked. You healed me? She nodded softly. It's what my kind can do, for someone we trust. Cole was quiet for a while, then whispered, Thank you. She leaned against him, tired but safe. Thank you for not leaving me. Outside the window, stars began to appear. The planet shrank below them, and for the first time in days, Nari wasn't running. She was flying, with someone who stayed. The ship moved quietly through deep space now. No alarms, no hunters, only stars outside the window and silence inside the ship. Cole sat in the corner of the small passenger cabin, arm bandaged, breathing slow and steady. His body was tired, but his mind wasn't resting. He kept thinking about Nari. She sat on the floor nearby, hugging her knees, staring at the glass above them. Her glowing eyes followed the passing stars. "Can't sleep?" Cole asked gently. She shook her head. Too much noise inside. He gave a soft chuckle. "I know the feeling." They sat in silence for a while longer. Then she spoke. "Do you think we're safe now?" Cole looked at her. "For now, yes. But the galaxy's big, and full of people who want to control what they fear." Nari's head lowered slightly. "I have something to tell you," she said. Cole leaned forward. "Okay." She didn't look up. "You call me Nari, but that's not my real name." Cole raised a brow. "It's not?" She shook her head. "Nari was the name I gave myself. After I lost everything, my real name is one I stopped using. I thought if I let it go, I could forget who I was." Cole leaned closer. "What's your real name?" Nari looked at him, eyes glowing like soft stars. Then she whispered, "Ilari." The name danced like a melody. Cole repeated it slowly. "Ilari." She nodded. "It means light from the last dawn in my people's tongue." Cole smiled. "It's beautiful." She smiled back, but her voice trembled. "No one said it in so long. I thought it was dead." He leaned in gently. "Then let's bring it back to life." She looked down, eyes wet. "You really mean that?" "I do," Cole said. "A name is who you are. And you're more than just a runaway. You're more than what they called you." Ilari's lips quivered. Then she crawled forward and wrapped her arms around him. She didn't say anything. She didn't need to. He hugged her back softly, carefully, like holding something the world tried to break. The ship shook lightly as it entered the next sector. The captain's voice came through the speaker. "Approaching the station. We'll dock in 20. Get ready." Cole looked up. "We're almost there." Ilari wiped her tears. "What happens next?" "We hide, get new IDs, maybe find a quiet moon, one where no one asks questions." She hesitated. "What if they find me again?" He smiled gently. "Then they'll have to go through me first." Her small fingers wrapped tighter around his sleeve. "You don't have to stay with me forever," she whispered. "I know," Cole said, "but I want to." Her voice was tiny. "Even if it's dangerous? You're worth it, Ilari." She smiled. This time, it was real. When they reached the docking station, the ship connected with a soft thud. Cole checked the corridor outside the cabin window. Crowds. Noise. Aliens of every kind. Merchants and workers moving fast. He turned to her. "Ready?" She nodded. They stepped off the ship together. She wore her hood. He kept her close. No one looked twice. For the first time, they blended in. But just as they reached the side exit, Ilari stopped. She pulled out the pendant from under her cloak. The crystal still glowed faintly. "My father gave me this," she said. "It only glows when someone with a clean heart is near." She handed it to Cole. He froze. "You sure?" She nodded. "It glows because of you." Cole held the pendant in his hand. It warmed instantly, and the glow brightened. "Guess your father was right," he said softly. Ilari smiled wide, and for the first time since she crawled from fire and fear, she didn't feel cursed. She felt chosen. Cole and Ilari walked through the lower levels of the docking station, searching for the gate to their shuttle. It was cold here, lights flickering, steam rising from broken pipes. The air smelled like rust and metal, but Ilari didn't mind, because for the first time she wasn't hiding who she was. She was walking beside someone who chose her, Not in fear, not in pity, but in something warmer. Maybe even love. They reached the final checkpoint, one last scan, and they'd be free to board a shuttle that would take them far, far away, to a planet, with no hunters, no cages, no fear. But fate had one more test waiting. As Cole handed the forged ID chip to the officer, a red light blinked. The scanner buzzed sharply. The officer looked up, confused, then tapped the screen. "Wait," he muttered. "We've got a mismatch." A second officer approached. He had silver armor and cold eyes. "Problem?" he asked. The first officer whispered, "I think that's her. The alien girl, the bounty one, code class Luminar." The man in silver didn't blink. He turned and stared at Alari, then stepped forward. "You," he said, "lift your hood." Alari froze. Cole stepped in front of her. "She's just a kid." "She's a wanted threat," the officer snapped. "Move." "No." The officer raised his hand to his weapon. Alari's small voice echoed. "Please, don't hurt him." The officer's hand hesitated. A crowd had started watching. The air felt tight. "Sir?" the first officer said softly. "If she's the one from the alert, we'll get a big reward." Alari stepped forward, hood still. "I'm not dangerous," she said, voice trembling. "I never hurt anyone." The man in silver barked a bitter laugh. "You don't have to. You're one of them. Glowing eyes, ancient blood. That's all it takes." Cole looked him straight in the eyes. "And what if I said she's under my protection?" The man sneered. "Then you're a traitor." Cole didn't flinch. "She's a child," he said. "And the only dangerous thing I've seen is how people like you treat her." Hilary took a deep breath, then slowly pulled back her hood. The crowd gasped. Her eyes glowed softly. Her face was calm, and in her hands, she held the crystal pendant. She held it out toward the officer. "If your heart is clean," she said gently, "this will glow." He scoffed. "Tricks don't fool me." "Try," she whispered. The man stepped closer. She placed the pendant in his hand, and it stayed dark. Dead. No light. No pulse. He looked down, confused, angry. Then, afraid, because everyone watching saw it too. Even the other officer stepped back. Cole took Alari's hand. "The crystal knows," he said. "It always does." And with that, he walked forward. The scanner lit green. Access granted. No one dared stop them now. They boarded the shuttle quietly. Cole sat by the window. Alari sat beside him. Outside, stars waited. Inside, her head rested on his shoulder. She held the pendant between her fingers. "Do you think people like me will ever be free?" she asked. Cole placed his hand over hers. "They already are," he said. "Every time they're brave enough to shine." She looked up at him. "You really don't think I'm dangerous?" He smiled. "You're the bravest person I've ever met." She smiled too, wide and glowing, and for the first time since her world was burned, she believed it. As the shuttle launched, Cole looked out at the stars. A new home waited. A place to start over. And beside him sat a girl the galaxy once feared, a girl who just wanted to be loved, not for what she could do, not for what her blood carried, but simply for who she was. Ilari. And he had chosen her.